Okay. Now, welcome to the module 2. Okay, second part of module 2, that is human resource planning. Okay. So here, my dear students, we had seen yesterday the meaning of human resource planning. We had seen yesterday various processes of human resource planning, as well as in the last class we have looked into the forecasting, methods, right? So we had come down to the forecasting methods, so techniques of forecasting demand for employees. Okay. So here, first technique of forecasting for HR, that is demand forecasting, right, of employees. Please understand, students, here we are understanding the demand forecasting of the employees. That means future need of human resource within the organization. Right. Some more students are joining. Right. The first one here, my dear students, it is the experts committee. Okay. So here we had seen Delphi technique. That is nothing but you have the experts coming in from the different areas, right? And they will be looking into the individual's ability, right? They'll be looking into the ability of the employees within the organization. They'll be looking at the strategy of the organization, and then based on that, they do come out with certain needs need analysis. Okay. And based on that, they go in for the understanding what would be the demand of human resource in the near future. So here we have already seen that it was being developed. This particular Delphi technique was originally developed by Rand Corporation. So as per this technique, the estimates are sought from number of individuals in an interactive manner. So what they do is they just sought for the information from various experts in interactive manner, right? And they look into the experts also interview the employees of the organization, the management members, and based on that interactions, they come out with the solution of what would be the demand for the human resource in near future. Okay. So final estimate is worked out by the experts, and then finally an accurate report comes down to a single expert estimate. Right. So that is nothing but Delphi technique. So here another technique we had, nominal group technique. So it is nothing but the method of forecasting wherein the HR requirements are being taken into consideration. So here, after individuals have generated estimates, okay, individual departments generate the estimate that this is what the manpower needed for my department for this particular year. A group brainstorming is being done. Okay. So here there is a group brainstorming of experts which will be done. Okay. And this session, all the individuals who have generated estimates, okay, interact with each other. Okay. And then finally reach to a common decision. Okay. So each individual enjoys equal opportunity. So every individual who has given the estimate enjoys equal opportunity to express their opinion as to why they need so much of manpower. Okay. And thus eliminating the domination. So no one is going to dominate here. So taking everyone's limitations as well as demands into consideration, they come down to a final decision, okay, which is mutually agreed by each member of the group. That is, in group decision making is being made. That is nothing but nominal group technique. Apart from that, we have averaging. Averaging is nothing but this method basically involves simple averaging of forecasts of made by the individual experts. Okay. So here what happens is the expert committee which are being framed, they go in for putting forth a simple averaging of forecast. So everyone forecast, and they do the simple averaging of that particular forecast of the demand, whatever the experts have framed. Okay, so this method basically has an advantage of taking into consideration diverse viewpoints, right? So basically everyone's viewpoint is taken, and then finally averaging is being done. So main shortcoming basically of this particular method is extreme views which are very typical or which are very complex are not taken into consideration. Okay, that is the disadvantage of this averaging technique. So this is one of the qualitative method. Okay, that is expert committee estimate, one of the method of demand forecasting for the employees needed in the organization. Then you have sales force estimate. Okay, this method basically is used for new products, okay, which are being introduced in the organization. So in it, the sales personnel estimates the number of employees required based on the demands of the product. So whenever a new product is being introduced in the market, okay, so the processes of that production of that particular product changes. So here the manpower requirement arises. So manpower requirement is given based on the demand for the product in the market. Okay, so method basically has a plus point because sales personnel who estimate the demand are very much familiar with the field that this would be the demand of the product which may happen. However, its major shortcoming basically is the that the estimates are subjective and judgmental. So it is entirely this estimates which are being made are very much subjective and judgmental on the let me in. Okay, so that is one of the sales forecast estimate. Okay, so major shortcoming of this estimate are again it is very subjective and judgmental, and always it may be it may not be right. Okay, so the estimate may not be always right, and there is always a possibility of bias which may happen when it comes to Salesforce estimate. Okay, so that is one of the qualitative method of demand forecasting. Apart from that, you have managerial judgment. Managerial judgment basically it focuses on forecasting which is being which are made likely to be impacted by the factors like technological and administrative changes. So any changes in the technology or any changes in the administration or the processes enhances the chance of managerial judgment. Okay, so here it is caused due to enhanced productivity or maybe decision made to improve the quality of the output or decision made to penetrate into new markets, so on. Okay, so managerial judgment will come into power play to modify the initial forecast. Okay, so managerial judgment basically it is nothing but a power play. If sudden change in the organization or decision of the management in the organization, like increasing the productivity or maybe increasing the quality of the output of the product. Okay, all these are very sudden decisions which are being taken by the organization. In order to meet the manpower needs of the sudden decisions, managerial judgment is one of the technique which can be taken. Okay, then you have unit demand forecasting. Okay, so this is nothing but a bottom up approach because normally it is the unit manager at the department level. So the unit manager at the department level or the leader or the project or the team leader of that particular project, okay, analyzes, okay, analyzes the job, the needs of the job, okay, as well as future needs of the job, and then finally he gives an estimate that this would be the manpower which should be requiring for the near future. Okay, so here it is then followed by improving the estimates by HR executives responsible for forecasting the HR requirement in consultation with unit managers. Okay, so here basically the the supervisor, line supervisors, or maybe the departmental unit head, or maybe the project team head, all these people will be giving the forecasting. They just forecast what would be the necessity of manpower in future, and based on that they give the estimate, and that estimate is again further analyzed by the HR in consultation with the unit manager, and then finally a decision is being made of what would be the demand of employees in the near future. Okay, so these are the qualitative methods, my dear students. Okay, now moving on to the quantitative methods. Okay, so basically this methods, or that is quantitative methods, these are the quantitative methods. Okay, these methods they use mathematical and statistical techniques. Okay, and are as follows. One is trend analysis and projection. Okay, so this is entirely based on past relationship between a business factor related to employment and employment level itself. Okay, so this relation can be used into several ways. Basically, we have simple long trend, that is simple long trend projection or analysis, or maybe regression analysis, right? So simple long trend analysis basically is nothing but the forecasting the manpower requirement. Okay, so here it is a study of an organization's past employment levels. Okay, so it studies the organization's past employment levels over a period of years. It may be like 5 years or maybe 4 years, something like that, to forecast future requirement. Okay, so for example, if you take for simple long run trend projection and analysis, in many organizations sales levels are related to employment needs. Okay, so table of graph or graph showing the past relationship between sales and employment. can be developed, which will be indicative of a trend in the past. Okay, so thus this method basically is extrapolates with the past relationship between the volume of the business activity and the employment levels in the future. So here the volume of business activity is being taken, the past level of manpower is being taken, and then based on that, the future requirement of manpower is being analyzed. Okay, so that is simple long run trend projection analysis. Fine, but it ignores the multiplicity of factors influencing employment levels. Okay, so here the factors which influence the employment level may vary based on the technological changes or whatever it is that is being ignored. Okay, this method basically assumes that volume of business activity volume of business activity of the organization for the forecast period will continue at the same rate, okay, as the previous year. So everything is based on the past analysis, right? So this method certain times may not be very right method to be followed in. Okay, apart from that, you have regression analysis. It is nothing but a statistical tool. Regression analysis is statistical tool which helps of which we are in position, or basically to estimate or predict unknown values of one variable from known values of other variables. So what you do in regression analysis is you are going to calculate the unknown variables which cause the changes in the business environment with the analysis of the known variables. Okay, so regression analysis basically finds out the average probable change in one variable given in a certain amount of change in another. Okay, so here the simple long run trend projection analysis, the drawback of this is being rectified in this regression analysis. Fine. Then you have simulation models. Okay, so my dear students, please understand here you need to only understand the definition of these methods. Okay, you need not go for calculations of this method. For your syllabus, only definitions of these methods are enough. Okay, so entire brief definition of this methods I'll be giving in the notes. Okay, right now I'll be explaining it. Apart from that, you have simulation models. Okay, so simulation models basically use probabilities of future events to estimate the future employment levels, right? So what it does, it uses probability of future events, right, to estimate future employment levels. So this model basically makes a lot of assumptions about future regarding both internal and external environment. Okay, but it is bit complicated method and involves lot of cost in it. Right? Apart from that, you have workload analysis, right? So this method basically makes the use of information about actual content of the work based on the job analysis of the work. So this method takes into consideration and it is based on job analysis, right? So HR requirements are entirely based on expected output of the organization, and productivity changes are also looked into. So the method basically is little bit difficult to apply. Okay, besides job analysis may not always be accurate. Okay, because of the changes which are happening, it may not be very accurate, and this particular workload analysis is entirely based on job analysis. So certain times there may be a lot of problems arising following this particular method. Then you have Markov analysis. So this basically this method uses historical rates of promotions, transfers, and turnovers to estimate future availability in the workforce. Okay. So based on past probabilities, one can estimate the number of employees who will be in the various positions with the organization in future. So this model gives good result in stable environment. So whenever there is environment is very stable, this particular method gives good results. But normally the environment does not remain stable. Okay, so there will be 100% changes which will be happening. So assumptions of this model that the nature of jobs has not changed over time to appear to be unrealistic in the real world. Okay, so Markov analysis also can be used only when there is a stable environment. That means no too much of job changes, or maybe the job analysis does not change a lot. Okay, that time you can use this Markov analysis. Then obviously you have ratio analysis. It is nothing but a forecasting technique for determining future manpower needs by using ratios between some casual factors, that is sales volume, or okay, all these are various casual factors which can be used. Okay. So, for example, if suppose in an organization a salesperson usually generates rupees 4 lakh in sales, and that in each of the last 2 years, eight salespersons were required to generate rupees 3 lakh 20,000, sorry, 3 crore 20 lakhs in sales. Okay. So if it is expected that sales volume of the organization in that year will be increased by 1 crore 60 lakhs, additional 4 persons will be needed to generate. Okay. I'll be showing that in the next slides. Fine. And then you have scatter plot. That is one of the graphical method which is being used for identifying the human resource requirement. Okay. So scatter plot basically is a graphical method to identify relationships between two variables. Okay. So here this particular scatter plot identifies the relationship between two variables, maybe sales volume as well as the manpower requirement. These are the two values which can be identified. Fine. So having the fitted line, one can project how many people will be needed. Okay, given the projected volume of the organization. Okay. Apart from that, you have a statistic method. Okay. So this is also a statistical method. It refers to process which develops in time, thereby suggesting that future cannot be predicted with certainty. Okay. So it says that there is no certainty, future cannot be predicted with certainty. Only probabilities basically can be worked out, because while projecting workforce requirement, two types of variables are present, which is initiated by the organization and are usually certain. So which is initiated by the individuals and which are unpredictable. Okay. For example, resignation of the employees. Okay. Termination of the employees. These are unpredictable events which may happen. So this probability is being taken into this particular method. Fine. I think some students want to join. Fine. And then you have a computerized system. Okay. So computerized system basically are used to forecast manpower requirement, through which information required basically to develop computerized forecast of manpower requirement is compiled by the HR specialist. So you will be having a human resource analyst here, or a person who is very much expertise in analysis. Okay. So this particular human resource analyst or specialist will be framing the manpower requirement based on the inputs given by the various departments, and based on the typical data like labor hours to produce 1 unit of the product, and three sales projection, minimum, maximum, and probable for the product line in question. All these are various data which will be taken, and then based on that, software is being the software is being filled in all the data, and then the HRs will be using this particular tool for identifying the demand forecasting for the human resource in the organization. Okay. So these are various techniques for forecasting demand for employees. Okay. So here managerial judgment, basically if you see ratio trend analysis here, studying past ratios, right? Number of workers versus volume of sales. Okay. So here present level of production was 2000 units. Present number of foremen was 4. At present 2000 units production happens, and four foremen are there to produce this 2000 units. Okay. So ratio is 4 is to 2000. That is 1 is to 500. Okay. So future estimates level of product. I hope you know the calculation here. 4 is to 2000. Okay. It comes down to 1 is to 500. So future estimated level of production is 5000. So okay, present was 2000. Future is 5000. So 5000 divided by 500 is 10. So we need 10 foremen in future. This is how ratio trend analysis is being calculated. Okay. It is just a simple ratio calculation which is being put forth here. Apart from that, if you study work study techniques, okay, planned operations during the year 2013 is 1,60,000 units. Planned man hours is 40,000. So work ability per employee in man hours is in the year 2013 is 2000. Okay. So apart from that, number of employees required in 2013 is 20. Fine. So this is how basically they look in for calculations, right? Then you have, my dear students, factors in HR forecasting. Okay. So first factor in HR forecasting, no, first factor which influences the HR forecasting. One is the quantity of personnel, that is workforce analysis, and the quality of personnel, that is workload analysis. Okay. So factors basically Uh, as a matter of fact, the quantity of personnel is workforce analysis, and quality of personnel is workload analysis. Okay. So here basically when we speak about the factors, first factor in quantity of personnel is economic factor. Okay. So economic factor basically relates to national economy. Okay. International economy scenario and future prospects. These three things are taken into consideration when it comes to economic factors. So you have the first one, that is the national economy. Then you have the second one, that is international economy, and then future prospects of future prospects. These are the three factors which are taken into consideration when it comes to economic factors. Okay, so here if prospects of future economic situation is good, then the future sales and the production prospects will also be good, resulting into more hands to obtain the level of activities. Inflation, deflation, and increase in cost of inputs, raw materials, all are few examples basically of economic contingencies having their influence on short term and long range plans of business organizations. Okay, so if there is an inflation, obviously you have to cut down the manpower. Okay, so these are the various one factor which affects the HR forecasting. Second factor which affects the HR forecasting is production estimates. Okay, so manpower requirement basically in some cases may vary closely with fluctuations in productions. Okay, so here sales forecast are the basis upon which the estimates of manpower requirement are built. So, however, basically manpower is needed in a given department of the company depends upon the factory schedules. Okay, or in turn or maybe worked out from sales forecast or storage policies. All these do come into consideration. So degree to which production schedule is stabilized in comparison with sales curve is largely depending on the storability of the products and the non-susceptibility of the style factors. Okay, so here the production basically it keeps on changing based on the storability capacity, sales force, sales volume, and all those things. So all these do directly affect the manpower requirement. Okay, or maybe HR forecasting. This is one of the factor which influences the HR forecasting. Then you have expansion programs, or if the organization thinks of moving in for expansions, that time you have to have the need for basically different type of personnel arises. Okay, so such possibility should also be taken into account while calculating future manpower requirement. That is also one of the factor which affects the HR forecasting. Then you have work standards. Okay, apart from that, if there is a change in work standards due to negotiations with the trade unions or maybe negotiations with the management, it may create demand for labors. Okay, for example, if standard production of 50 units per worker per day at present is reduced to 40 per worker, okay, under the settlement, then it will require proportionately more workforce than at present in order to maintain the same level of production. Okay, so this is what we speak about work standard. Then the next factor which influences the human resource forecasting is existing manpower inventory. Okay. So here, basically, whenever you want to focus the manpower in the organization, first thing the HR looks into the existing manpower inventory. That means at present, what is the manpower in my organization? What is the skill, knowledge, and ability of the manpower in my organization? Okay. So based on that, they go in for identifying what would be the future needs of the manpower. So first, they will identify whether the human resources which is there in my organization, are they capable to do the extra work which is required. That means if I recruit some more personals, their work, the present manpower, can they do it? Can I go for increasing the production limit for each employee within the organization? Can I go for setting a higher standard for the employees in my organization? Is it possible? So that is being taken into consideration. Okay, so for that, they can go for the calculations such as total manpower requirements less existing, okay, or available manpower, okay, and the manpower which are to be needed. Okay, the payroll is being taken into consideration, and then they finally take on decision as to what would be the need for HR in the future coming years. Okay, based on the strategy of the organization. Then you have labor turnover. That is also one of the factor which affects the human resource, forecasting. So this is one of the oldest device of estimating future manpower requirements in the company. Okay, so here labor turnover ratio is being calculated. So in the vacancies which can be created by employees leaving the organization. Okay, so this particularly gives an estimate statistically as to how many are likely to leave. Okay, this formula labor turnover ratio gives an estimate as to how many employees will be leaving, and probably that is one of the factor which affects the human resource forecasting. Okay, so turnover rates may be calculated either by separation method or replacement method or flux method, whatever it is. So knowing trends of turnover is an excellent means of approaching how many vacancies are likely to occur in the future for detailed labor after the detailed labor turnover is being framed. Okay, so this is one of the factor which influences the HR forecasting. Apart from that, you have retirement and resignations. Okay, so estimating future manpower requirement, the expected losses which are likely to occur through retirements, deaths, transfers, promotion, demotion, dismissal, disability, resignation, layoffs, okay, or any other separation method is to be taken into consideration. Okay, so changes in human quality resulting from the experience gained in the jobs during the period, and training undergone also needs to be considered. So after making the adjustment of wastage, anticipates and expected losses and separations, real shortage and surplus may be found out, which directly tells us what would be the recruitment trend for the next particular year. That means how much vacancies may arise and how many employees I'm supposed to recruit. Okay, apart from the changes in management, obviously if the management changes, the philosophy of the management, the leadership styles, as well as the technology of the management keeps on changing. Okay, so probably it necessitates the changes in skills of the workforce. Okay, and sees to it that it requires to add on the skilled manpower, right, to match the changes which have happened to the management. Okay, so these are the various quality quantity of personnel, but that is workforce analysis factors which affect the HR forecasting. Okay, then you have, my dear students, the quality of personnel, that is workload analysis. Fine. So here when we speak about workload analysis, basically the demand analysis, the work standards and the nature and composition of existing works do taken are taken into consideration. Okay, so when we speak about demand analysis, right, so here you go in for analyzing the demand based on various techniques, statistical techniques which are there. Okay, you just go in for analyzing the demand. Fine. Apart from that, when we speak about work standards, when you increase the work standards, okay, probably it is one of the factor which affects the human resource forecasting. Okay, so here the lot of increase in the work standards or maybe benchmark, if it is increased, it again affects the uh, you know uh, HR forecasting need for the human resource in the organization. And the nature and composition of existing workforce, as I said, understand the workforce skills, abilities and knowledge first, and then identify whether they are capable of meeting the demands of the assignment which has to come in the future, and then analyze whether I have to go in for recruiting new employees or whether I can train and get the work done from the present employees only. Okay, then you have forecasting the supply of human resource. Okay, so we have seen the demand forecasting. Let us move on to the supply of human resource, that is supply forecasting. So for that, having forecasting the HR requirement, and that is demand of HR, and conducting the audit of the present manpower. The next step of planning, human resource planning, is forecasting the supply of human resource. Now demand is there, we know that this much of demand is there, we need so much of manpower. From where you are going to get that particular supply? We have to also analyze the supply of manpower. Okay, so forecasting the supply of human resource can be understood in two heads. Okay, that is forecasting the supply of internal candidates and forecasting the supply of external candidates. So when I say internal candidates, okay, it is nothing but the internal supply of human resource. Okay, that is already who are working in the organization, qualification, skills and people inventory. That means understanding the skill sets and qualification, knowledge, ability and of the present employees who are there in the organization. So many organizations maintain such inventories separately for managerial and non-managerial personals. Okay. So maintenance of such inventory tells us what kind of ability, skills, qualification, experience, and training the employees currently have. Okay. It helps in determining if the particular skills or ability will be available when it is needed by the organization in future. Right. So this inventory is an instrument to help the organization identify employees who need training and what type of training, and who need to be groomed, and who are fitting the positions or vacancies which may arise in the future. So career planning of the employees, succession planning of the employees, all do come in forecasting of supply, supply forecasting, right? Then basically when we speak about the supply forecasting, okay, so the size and status and complexities of the organization, okay, so it is entirely decided on the size, status, and complexity of the organization. So data can be maintained to any form. It may be into manual system. Okay, you have manual employee qualification training undergone, everything you have manually the reports, or you can go for personal replacement charts. Okay, that is supply chain sorry, that is succession planning. Or you can go for position replacement cards. Okay, again here you can go for replacements. Okay, of the employees, understand by understanding the current performance and potential for future performance. And then you also can have computerized information system in which everything is being stored, and immediately you get the information as to who is the right person to take up that particular position or take up that particular assignment. Okay, so promotions, job posting, succession planning can be easily done through this computerized system. Okay, so this is the forecast of supply of internal candidates. Fine. Then you have the forecast of supply of external candidates. For it, the organization basically has to anticipate local labor market condition, fine, and general economic condition, and so on. Everything is to be considered. Okay, so it is usually not always possible to get candidates through internal sources. Okay, to fill up adequately the gap between demand and supply of human resource. Hence, the organization may look forward to outside candidates, right? So in order to forecast the supply of outside candidates, the organization have to anticipate the local market condition. That is, what is the status of local labor market and general economic conditions, which includes rate of unemployment, as the latter may affect the rate of supply of labor. If the rate of unemployment is high, obviously the supply of labor also will be high. If the rate of unemployment is very low, the supply of labor also will not be there, right? So it will be very low. So lot of secondary data with regard to economic conditions are available through both government and private publications. Okay, so occupational market conditions will also have to be anticipated while making a forecast with regards to supply of outside candidates. So at times, there may be shortages of certain types of technical skills, while certain skills may be available in abundance. Okay, so in this regard, a forecast are available in various publications, right? So research papers which are being written by various publication agencies, by various researchers. Okay, as well as the government authorities, rules and regulations, everything, whatever the government authority publications, whatever are there, all this give the input for the supply of external labor. Okay, ma'am, let me in, Sneha. Fine. Then moving on to the next, my dear students, that is the strategic human resource planning. Fine. Till now, we have seen the process of human resource planning. That is, first identify the corporate planning, understand what is the corporate planning, understand the internal and external environment of the organization, then going for demand forecasting, then going for supply forecasting, and then identify the gap between demand forecasting and supply forecasting, and then identify going for implementing the plan, and then finally understand what is the implication, whether there is shortage of labor in spite of all the planning, or there is surplus of labor, what to do with the shortage of labor, and what to do with the surplus of labor, we have already seen in the last slides. Okay, now let us move on to strategic human resource planning. Okay, so when we speak about strategic human resource planning, it is nothing but it should be strategically guided by the goals and objectives of the strategic plan of the organization. Okay, so there should be perfect alignment between strategy of the organization and the human resource planning of the organization. Therefore, it should be vertically fit as well as horizontally fit. Okay. So when we speak about this particular diagram, if you could see here, my dear students, okay, if there is a strategic option, that is strategies which are being planned by the organization. It may be restructuring the organization, takeover of the organization, okay, mergers between two organizations, acquisition of particular organization, or maybe outsourcing a particular work. Okay, so here environment, internal and external environment, for just pushes some influence on organizational strategy as well as HRM strategy, human resource management strategy. Okay, so here, based on the internal environment and external environment and the changes happening in internal and external environment, the strategy of the organization changes. When the strategy of the organization changes or maybe implemented, at time HRM strategy also changes and it is implemented. So HRM strategy is directly dependent on the organization strategy. Okay. So here, based on the organization strategy and HRM strategy, forecasting of demand for human resource and supply of human resource is being taken into consideration. And based on that, they go in for restructuring or the organization takeovers mergers. So here, when you are going for restructuring of the organization, you have to go for demand of a human resource. What would be the demand of human resource and the internal and external supply of human resource that you have already forecasted. After forecasting it, you have to understand the restructuring of the organization, or maybe organization is going for takeover. For example, if the organization is going for mergers, that time, obviously the demand for the jobs will be created. You also have internal supply of manpower as well as external supply of manpower, because you will be having employees from the other company also who will be coming into your company. Okay, so here basically these are the things which are to be taken. So here HRM strategy is taken into consideration and they go for strategic options. As when it comes to merger, should I go in for employing all the employees of that particular company whom with I am merging, or should I go for only employing certain employees? So what is the strategy of employing those employees? Okay, that is what you have to take into consideration, and then finally you evaluate whatever you have taken a decision, and then again, when based on evaluation, the strategy of the HRM keeps on changing. So this is a simple model of strategic human resource planning which happens within the organization. Okay, so moving on to the next, my dear students, attributes of effective HR planning. So when we speak about attributes of effective HR planning, first attribute of HR planning basically is the HR personnel understanding the HR planning process. If HR personnel doesn't understand the HR planning process perfectly, then probably it may lead to defective HR planning. So HR planning may not be perfect when the HR personnel itself doesn't know exactly how to do it. So HR personnel has to be trained and has to be an expertise into HR HR pre planning, that is human resource planning. And the second attribute for effective HR planning is top management support. If top management doesn't support, okay, in terms of budget, in terms of finance, okay, so HR planning may not be very much perfect. So HR planning cannot go in a right way if top management doesn't support. So top management support is very much necessary for your human resource planning to be effective. And third one is communication between HR staff, line management are healthy. So as we see understood, human resource planning is not one time effort, it is a continuous process. Okay, because changes will be happening continuously. So what happens is communication between the HR staff and line management is very, very important. If there is a gap between the communication of HR staff and line management, obviously the human resource planning also is really destroyed. You cannot have right human resource planning in the organization. Okay. So HR plan is integrated with the organization's strategic business plan. Always the HR should remember that the whatever HR plan we have seen in the strategic human resource planning. Okay, so HR plan is always connected to the strategic business plan. That means which keeps on changing. So here, if that is taken into consideration, then obviously your HR planning will be 100% effective. Now, benefits of human resource planning. The first benefit of human resource planning is nature of human resource. Basically, the human resource have four critical features, right? So here, nature of human resource necessitates human resource planning. First, for higher skills, a very long time is required for workers to achieve full productivity. That is one of the critical feature of human resource. Second is a person generally achieves higher productivity for long productivity the longer he is on the job. Okay, that is one of the critical feature of the human resource. Third, a person's mental satisfaction affects his productivity. Okay. Lastly, the investment, okay, in human beings belong to the individuals who may take the skills where he goes. Okay, so all these are various critical nature of the human resource, which you know which creates a benefit for the organization when human resource planning is being made. Okay, so here taking all these critical factors into consideration, you have to identify a right person for the right job at the right time. Okay, skilled manpower, that is one of the planning. So if organization has better human resource planning, then obviously you have talented and skilled employees from any organization. Okay, so you will be recruiting the right level of business firms also. Then you have rapid technological changes, right? So jobs and job requirements are changing, right? So with this changes in the job requirement, I think someone wants to try. Fine. Changes in the job requirement. The pace of technological change has accelerated a lot. So direction of technological changes has decreased jobs for unskilled workers, but has increased the demand for new skills. So technological changes makes retraining a must for many current job holders. Okay, so this particular human resource planning gives in emphasis on training of the employees, present employees also. That is one of the benefit of human resource planning. Okay, and then you have a cost of recruitment and hiring. Obviously, when you have proper planning in hand, okay, you can have highly skilled personnels in a short supply, and it is very costly to hire and maintain them. Okay, so highly skilled personnels are short in supply and very costly to hire and maintain. So basically, recruitment and training cost like pension, gratuity, provident fund, and other fringe benefits is the cost of hiring new role workers, okay, new workers. So higher recruitment cost encourage upgrading from within. Okay, so cost of recruitment and hiring also is taken care when you have proper human resource planning in hand. Apart from that, increased mobility. Okay, so here the problems of management to retain qualified employees, okay, is being sorted out. There is nothing to keep the workers from moving on one job appears attractive. Okay, so here one job, it appears attractive, you can also put for moving into different jobs. Okay, as a result, individuals employers face greater difficulties in holding preferred employees, right? So proper work planning will reduce the rate of turnover. Okay, so here the employee, if they want to move, and there are a lot of experts who will be there in working in that particular field who doesn't want to move. Okay, so all these are taken into consideration, and if you have proper workforce planning, obviously you can easily adapt to the changes which are happening, right? And then you have reduction of wastages. Okay, so proper workforce policy or proper human resource planning reduces the wastage rate. Okay, so it also reduces labor turnover or attrition rates and all those things, right? Because you have put the right you have planned for the right person in the right job at the right time. Okay, so apart from that, human resource as corporate assets. So staffing planning stresses the value on human resources corporate assets. So management basically has learned that if it is neglected, you neglect the individuals. Okay, the individuals may not develop, and the kind of performance HR or the organization wants may not be produced by the employees. Okay, so that time you can identify that with HR planning, you tell to the employees that we are planning for you, and you are the human resource, and you are the corporate assets with us. Okay, apart from that, size of the firm, right? So interest in human resource planning increases because of the size of the organization. Okay, so continuously there will be increase in the size of the organization. So with that increase in the size of the organization, obviously the employee satisfaction also is being optimized, and probably with proper human resource planning, you can adapt to the changes which are happening in the firm. Profitability. So in a profit system, basic motivation for human resource planning, like other firm activities, would B, its contribution to profitability. Okay, so employee productivity is a major factor in profitability, has stimulated interest in the realization of work. So when you have proper human resource planning, obviously you will be having better productivity. With that, you will be having better profitability. Management development. Okay, so proper human resource planning ensures development of managers through proper training system. So these are the various benefits of human resource planning. Okay. So next part of HR planning, there's with certain practical examples, we'll just be dealing in the next class. Okay. Till here, my students, is it understood? Any doubts in understanding? Any doubts in understanding, students? Asha, any doubt in understanding?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Naina,
No, ma'am.
Gajanan.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Am I going too fast, Gajanan?
No, ma'am. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Right then. Right. Thank you very much, students.